doing today Lamites. Atchelis, Perk Atchelis.
Right. Okay.
We're on page 39, towards the top of the page. It says, it's about 5 lines down. Amar Rabba Baravada, Amar Ravada, Amar Rav. Very nice, right? Rabba says in the name of his father Ravada. It says the name of Rav. It's Rabba Baravada. It's not the famous Rabba. That's Rabbi Menachem. So Rabbi says in the name of his father, name of Rav. What's the halacha? Im nifsak hachut me'ikarei psula. You know, on the tzitzis, we were talking about how big it needs to be if it snaps. So, for example, if you have the tzitzis down here, we said if it snaps, so if there's enough left to make a bow, it's still kosher. Right? If you can make a bow, it's still kosher. It's a very small amount. But let's say
happens with the children.
Yeah. What about me curry from down here?
I have.
So it's still held in, but it snapped.
What it means, snap?
It was cut.
Oh, but like if it is going to be,
break. It's loose.
Break. Yeah, it's loose. It's going to lose sometimes. Sometimes.
Sounds like it's still good. If it's still attached, I think it's still good. So Rav says psula. Okay, fine. Yosef Rav Nachman, because at the beginning it's no good. If it's cut at the beginning, at that spot it's no good. Yosef Rav
Even one string.
Even one string.
Even one string.
Yosef Rav Nachman v'kamala shmaita. Rav Nachman was sitting and he said over this halacha, Eisvei Rava Rav Nachman. Rava asks Rav Nachman, we have a brisa. Brisa says, when do we say that the tzitzis need to be a certain size? That's betchilasai, that's when you make it. Aval seifai, but after it's made already, and you're wearing it, and if something happens to it, shiyara v'gardum of kolshu, what's left over, and the stubs, is even the smallest amount. My shiyarav, my gardumov. What does it mean what's left over? What does it mean the stubs? So it's two separate things. My lav, is it not? Shiyarav ifsik minayu vishtar minayu. Shiyarav must mean that it broke, it tore the tzitzis, and there's some that's left over. Gardumov, what does gardumov mean? The gardumi gardumi. That there were stubs, that it was totally cut off, that it's all the way cut from the beginning. So from the fact that we have two expressions, this is Rabba's question. Shiyarav, that means what's remnant, and we have Gardumov. That means the two of them are two separate things. One of them is it's cut from the end, and one is cut from the beginning. Umar says, Loi. Chadaktani. It's really one case. And as we're saying that it's kosher, even if the tzitz is snapped, or the tzitz is cut. We're cut. Shiurei Gardumov. It's not Shiyara Vigardumov, it's Shiurei Gardumov, it's just one thing. And over there the halacha is kolshu. As big as it is, that's enough. We explain the kolshu means that it's Kedei Aniva or whatever. Belema, so why doesn't it just say Gardumov? Just say stubs. Shiyara Lamali, right? What is the extra? Where it says Hakamash Malan. It's coming to teach us a halacha. The Be'inan Shiyura L'Gardumov Kedei La'anvam. It means that it says Kolshahu, the smallest amount, but it means the smallest amount that you're able to make a bow. Okay.
Amen.
We're on Lamites. Maybe 15 lines down, right?
14.
There's the line starts like Gardumov. We're up to the word Yosef.
Talking about tzitzis strings that break, or that snap.
Yosef Rabba. Now this is the real Rabba. Yosef Rabba, v'kamar mishmei de Rav. Rabba was sitting and he said over in the name of Rav, Chut shel krach, Eily min minyan. Chut shel krach means the string that's wrapped around the tzitzis. You know, this the tzitzis, the psil,
Yeah.
and then there's the gedil, which is the anaf is the end of it, and then the gedil is the part that's like braided, sort of, but it's wrapped around. And that string that's wrapped around is counted as one of the 8 strings. So there's an assumption here that we know that there's 8 strings. Amar le Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef says to Rabba and Rav Yosef are friends. He says he said it in the name of Rav, but actually Shmuel Amra. It was really Shmuel that said it. It's funny. What's the big deal? But maybe the difference is the halacha like it, because Rav would get the halacha of the Yisurin. And this it would be like Rav. He says Shmuel said it. V'loi Rav. It wasn't Rav. It was Shmuel that said it. I don't know how he knows that it wasn't Rav. He can know if it's Shmuel, but how does he know it wasn't? They must have had like very strong traditions. Itmar Nami. Amar Rabba Bar Chana. Rabba Bar Chana says, Sachli Rabbi Yoshia de Minusha. There's a correction to this text here. He says, Rabbi Yoshia de Minusha says, Chut shel krach oilala min minyan, that the string that's wrapped around is counted as one of the 8.
Right.
The correction to it is Sachli Rabbi Yoshia mishum mishmei de Shmuel. Instead of now, that's a proof that Rabbi Yosef is correct, that it was Shmuel that said it, not Rav. You follow?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rabbi Bar Chana.
But we don't go with these edits.
Actually, it's not so clear. How do you know that?
I mean, it's not
in the Bach or something.
Yeah.
Over here in Kutchim, the Shita Mekubetzes is the big editor.
Okay.
And you have all of these things. It's just in yeshiva. They would always tell you, always read the brackets and don't read the parentheses.
Right.
That's what they would tell us. And but in Kutchim, the whole thing is all edited. You have to follow the side the whole time.
Really?
You have to use all your 5 fingers when you're learning. You know, in each. Yosef Rabba. I don't know. Possibly a Rabba. The Ka'amar Mishmei de Shmuel. He says in the name of Shmuel, Tchelas, Shekarach Ruba is Ksheira.
I got an ultrasound.
The majority, yesterday we learned that it should be 1/3 Gidil, the braided part, and 2/3 the fringes.
Strings.
The strings. Yes. So you have it like this.
Right.
So you have 1/3 is this, and then you have 2/3 is this. All right. So you have, right. So this is double 2/3 of this. So what we're learning here is Rabbi saying in the name of Shmuel that if the tchelas was the majority, it was 2/3 wrapped. It was wrapped until here, all the way around until there. You only had 1/3 hanging out.
Yeah.
So it's still kosher. It's ksheira. It calls it tchelas. And there's a question if he means literally or if that's just an expression for tzitzis. Amali Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef says to Rav Amrav Alei Shmuel. So he's really on top of this. This is Rav Yosef's second time that he's correcting. But last time he said it wasn't Rav, it's Shmuel. Here he says it's Rav and not Shmuel. Itmar Nami. Amar Rav Huna bar Yehuda Amar Rav Sheshes Amar Rav Yirmiyah bar Rabba Amar Rav. Now we see that the Gemara does this afterwards to bring a proof. That's a proof to that correction. Tcheila shekarach rubes ksheira. Okay, so even if it's 2/3, it's still not a problem. Rav Chia Breder Rav Nassan Masni Hachi. Rav Chia, Rav Nassan's son, he has a text the following: Amar Rav Huna, Amar Rav Sheshes, Amar Rav Yibri, Barabba, Amar Rav. It's the same thing as before, just with one addition. Tchela shekarach rubis ksheira. If the tchelas is majority wrapped up, it's kosher. V'afilu lekarach ba'el chulya achas ksheira. However, on the other hand, even if you just have one chulya, we're going to see what a chulya is. But even if there's just one chulya, it's kosher. The chulya is the wraps around.
The wrap.
A chulya is also used as the vertebrae, I think, on an animal. So there's like a link or a piece. V'noy tchelas. What makes it beautiful? Shlish gedil u'shnei shlish yanaf. 1/3 of the braid and 2/3 hanging. Did you check up fee? Does it exist?
Oh, I didn't check it out.
It has it's something called the golden something.
Okay. I didn't check
Not
it
like
out.
the Rambam's, like the middle path is the golden mean. Is that called the golden mean? The golden rule. That's called the golden rule. This has some other thing, golden something. Greeks.
So Greek.
I know.
I heard a shiur once at the Torah and Science conference where someone was showing how in Chazal they were using the different Greek
Philosophies?
theories,
No,
like mathematical things. One of them was this piece, that this is considered beautiful, to have the 1/3 and it was showing it in other things as well. Kamashir chulya. How big is a chulya? Tanya, Rabbi Yomer, sheyichrich v'yishna v'yishalish. It's 3 times around. 1, 2, and 3. That's a chulya. We said before in the name of Rav that even 1 chulya is enough.
It makes sense that the third, so if you think Pesach Kavura,
First is
there's
okay.
3,
Uh-huh.
it's the third that makes
Uh-huh.
it beautiful. Maybe they
Very
got it-
interesting.
Maybe they got it
Very
from there.
nice.
Very nice. Interesting. Okay. Tana, hapoiches liyivchis misheva, v'amaisef liyosef al sheva asrei. Ashleish asrei. Okay. It's a little bit vague if it means the minimal amount of chulyas that you should have is 7. Does that mean 7 times 3? Because each chulya is 3? Or does that mean that chulya is not 3? Chulya is at least 7. We said before 3, but that's just biblically. Rabbinically, you should have 7 times around. But don't add more than 13. 13. The way we do it is the first one has 7. The next one has 8. Then we do 9.
11?
Then we do 11. Then we do 11.
Oh,
No, then we do 13, right? 1 second.
7, 8,
7,
11,
8.
13.
This is 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. 11 and then 13. That's how we do it. They quote them. The Rishonim quote. It's not the Rishonim. The Poskim. They quote that Reb Shlomo Malcho. You know Shlomo Malcho. Shlomo Malcho was someone that showed up in Italy after the Spanish Inquisition. He shows up and. No, that was David Aruveni. He was he must have been what happened was David Aruveni shows up. He says he's from some tribe. His brother's a king. He's a Jewish country and everything. And collecting money. They're going to fight against the Muslims or something. And it's very on a horse. It was like riding like a very charismatic person. And Shlomo Malcho becomes inspired and he starts to study Torah. He was from the ones that were from the Maranos. They were ignorant. He starts to, and within a few years he becomes this tremendous Talmid Chacham. He goes to the Pope and he's telling him that he's going to save the Jews. He's going to take them back, his Mashiach and everything. And, so he ends up predicting an earthquake or a flood in Rome, or something which happened. Then they're going to try him because he used to be a Marano. He's coming back a Jew. They're going to burn it. He ends up, there's an earthquake right when they're putting it. He runs away and he's saved, or someone else gets burned. So like very mysterious stories. But in the end, they ended up going to Charles V and whatever. They were going to convince him to let the Jews go or something, and he said, no, you're a Marano, and they burnt him at the stake. He was killed. And Bais Yosef said that he wants to die the death of Shlomo Malcha. They bring from him that his tzitzis had Yud Kei Vav Kei, that the first link was 10 times, then the next one was 5. Or this source, I think some Sfardim did this, and it's based on this Reb Shlomo Malcha's tzitzis, that it was 10, then it was 5, then it was 6, and then it was, so each one had a different, okay.
The other one is Hashem Echad.
It's Hashem Echad because it adds up.
26 and 39. 13.
26 and 13 is 39, so what is it, 7 plus 8 is 15.
Plus 11 is 26.
There's no 9 in there? No, 7 plus 8 plus 11
26.
is 26.
And
then 13 is 39. Is 30. It's 39. Hashem Echad. Okay. Okay. Why does it say 7 and then 13? So it says, L'yivchos misheva. Why should you not have less than 7? Keneged shiva rakiyim. Not to have less than 7 heavens.
Why is that so important?
What does that have to do with this?
Exactly.
It has to do with this because it says that the tchelas, the color of, is similar to the sea. The blue is similar to the sea. Where does the sea get its color?
From the sky.
From the sky.
Or vice versa.
And so we're talking about the sky. The sky somehow is connected to
Kisei
covered. So the blue reminds you of this. So it's 7 is for the 7 heavens. V'hamaisif. When you're adding la Yosef al Shalish Esrei, look at this. This is a good one. Keneged shiva rakiyim v'shisha avim shabineim. If you have 7 heavens, so you have 6 spaces between the 7 heavens.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We want very good comments today because you're in the seat.
Oh, yeah. It's been open.
Here we have Amud Lamed Tal.
Oh, exactly. Now we know which page tells us about the amount of tzitzis.
Very good.
It's a way to remember is Lamed Tes.
Perfect.
It's like which page in Shabbos talks about Lag Baimer? Page 33. So it's good. When it does this, it makes it easy to remember.
Very nice.
Tana Kishu Maschel. You know which Rabbi Badi Yosef's son was here in Miami. I think he's the chief rabbi. He said, which simon in Shulchan Aruch talks about fish?
Dog.
So he says, it's Simon Pei Gimel. He says his teacher told him, you have to remember, gefilte fish. It's very funny for a Svaydish to use that as a simon. You know, they're not really fond of it. But Pei Gimel is gefilte fish. Okay, so it says, we're talking about wrapping the tzitzis, and you have the white and you have the blue. So it says, Kishu maschel, when you start to wrap it, maschel belavan. You have to start with a white string that wraps around. Why? Because it says hakanaf, min kanaf. The corner has to be the same as the corner. What was the garment? It was made out of either linen possibly, or it was wool, but whatever it is, it was white. Kishu masayim, when you finish, Messiah and Beloved as well. You have to finish with white. Why? Because Malam Makodesh Shalem Meridin. This is a very interesting way of using Malam Makodesh Shalem Meridin, because what you do is like this. You start with white. You need to wrap the blue. But we see that the Torah gives precedence to the white. So we don't want to finish off with the blue, which that's secondary, even though it's not secondary, but it doesn't come first. So we have to finish with the white as well, so that we don't go down a level. Which is interesting. It's a different Malam Makodesh than Hanukkah. Hanukkah is you just keep increasing. Anyway, it's a different way of using it. Rav v'Rabba bar bar Chana have a yasvi.
Why is the white considered more holy than the blue?
Well, we see the Torah says that do the white first.
Okay.
So that's somehow considered.
Maybe because the blue is more holy, so you have to...
Maybe because of Malam Makodesh, right?
I don't get that.
Yeah. Yeah, you see Rashi on the bottom? Kivan da'akti meikra lemin kanaf shma mina chashavu.
Exactly.
Since the Torah says to do the kanaf, to do the white first, means it's more significant. So if you're going to finish off with tchelas, it's going to be going down a level. The end of the tzitzis is going to be weaker than the beginning. So I don't know. Okay, Rav and Rabbi bar bar Chana are I think cousins. Maybe first cousin once removed. Rav, his father was Abba. Abba's brother was Chana. So Rabbi bar Chana would have been his cousin. Rabbi bar Chana possibly is his first cousin once removed. It could be that his Rabbi bar Chana, his father's name was Rabba as well. So they didn't want to do Rabba bar Chana. They just did Rabba bar Chana. And that's because we have in the Gemara also a Rabba bar Chana. We say that this is historians want to say that they're sitting together. And there was this fellow was walking by. And he's wearing a garment that's entirely blue. And he has tchelis in it. Gedila Migdal. And the entire thing is, all of the string is all wrapped up all the way till the end. I think I saw someone that did this.
It's Yemenite style.
The Yemenite does that?
Really?
All the way
They
till the
wrapped
end?
it all the way up?
All the way till here?
Almost, yes.
Wow.
And to do it round, if I'm not mistaken.
So Amar Rav,
Yeah, they do it round. They don't do knots.
They don't do knots, they do round.
They don't do knots.
But I don't know if it's...
there's no knots at the end? How does it hold?
Yeah, it must be one in the beginning, one in the end. But
So
in between, there's
we
no
have
knots.
over here that there's this thing with 5 knots. We didn't say in the Gemara, but the Rishonim, like Rashi on the bottom here, says that there's 5 knots. And he says you put 2 knots at the beginning and you put 3 knots at the end. And that's going to help with the calculation, like we said, Rashi and Chumash does as
Right.
well, that to have the tzitzis.
613.
And Taisus over here says, discusses this 2 at the beginning, 2 at the end. What is that? He says maybe that you have to do a knot in between each of the wraps each time. Okay, so Rav's comment is Yoi Glima, nice cloak.
Nice threads.
V'lo Yoi Tchilta, but it's not nice. The tchelas, the way you made the tzitzis. So it doesn't mean that he calls out to him. He's talking to Rabbi bar Chana. And Rabbi bar Chana Amar, Yoi Glima v'Yoi Tchilta. No, nice cloak and nice threads, nice tzitzis. The Maika Miflaki, what is the machlekes Rav and Rabbi bar Chana? So Rabbi bar Chana Savar, Ksiv Gedil, Ksiv Psil. It says that you have to have a gedil. Gedil is the braided part. It also says psil. Psil is just the strings. Oy gedil, oy psil. You can have either or. You have a choice. He did entirely gedil. Fine. For Rav Savar, Rav holds the oil psil beinan. Really, you need a psil. That's the straight part, not the braided. Vahahu gedilim, and the fact that it says gedilim leminyan asa, that's coming to tell me how many. The minyanu dasa gedil is shnayim, and gedilim is arba. Asay gedil upaisleu mitoichai. You should make the gedil, and two pshatim here. What does it mean? Paisleu mitoichai. Either means that the string that you wrap around is one of the 8, is one of the strings, or paisleo means that the strings that are hanging go through the gedil and hang out. What is this 2 and 4? That you need 4 strings. The fact that it says gedil is only telling me it's not giving you the option, because it says gedilim tasalacha. It says one of the names of tzitzis in the Torah is gedilim. So Rab is saying that's not that you have a choice to do either straight or gedil. You need both. This that it says gedilim, that's just telling me how many strings you need to have. So you need 4 strings, and then you fold them over when it goes inside. Okay, simply what it means is that Rab is saying that you fold over the 4 strings, you do a gedil at the beginning, and then you do a psil at the end. You let it hang down at the end. And this person didn't do that, so Rab wasn't happy with it. Amar Shmuel Mishmei de Levi. Shmuel says in the name of Levi. We had Levi recently. We had Shmuel also. Shmuel was with Levi last time as well. They were talking about something. Levi was, we said, is a student of Rabbi. There was a story with Levi that he was sent to be a Rav somewhere, and the community wasn't happy with him. They sent him back. The community asked Rabbi for a rabbi. He sent Levi, and I think he answered, "I don't know," or to a bunch of things. And then Rabbi explains to him that no, that's not what you're supposed to say. You have to tell them. You have to be more, decisive. Okay. Chutei tzemer.
Did he get his job back or not?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know if it was a Gemara or a Medrash, but it did. Chutei tzemer paitzim b'shel pishtan. This is a big discussion. The strings, wool strings, will pater, will exempt a linen garment.
And it's not shot.
Now, the reason for this is because you have an obligation to put tchelas onto the garment, and tchelas is blue wool. Tchelas is not just a color; it's also material. It's blue wool. So because of that, it says in the Torah that you have to put tzitzis on, and it says that you shouldn't wear shatnez. But because it's right next to each other, it tells us that the mitzvah saseh of tzitzis, the positive command, pushes off the negative command of don't wear shatnez. Right? So in tzitzis, it pushes off. I say it, the positive command pushes off the negative command, but this is specifically when you have tchelas. Like, don't try this at home. So this is with tchelas. We'll see. They ask a question. Shall pishtan mahu shiftir b'shal tzemer?
The other way around.
What's going to be the other way? We have no source that you should have linen put on as strings on a woolen garment. Tzemer b'shal pishtan hu depater. When it comes to wool, strings on a linen garment, it exempts the garment. Why? The kiva and the tchelas patra lavan. The kiva and the tchelas patra. Because since tchelas exempts it. Doesn't mean patra means that it works for tzitzis. It doesn't mean patra. Yeah, it means that it works for tzitzis. So lavanami patar. So if I have white wool, that will also work in a linen garment. Aval pishtim b'tzemer, but linen, in a linen strings, in a woolen garment, loy. That we don't have a source for that. Oy dilma, or maybe. Kivan deksiv le'sil b'shatnis tzemer pishtim yachtav dilim tasalacha. It says 2 verses, one next to another. Don't wear shatnis, wool and linen together. You should make tzitzis for yourselves. Loishna tzemer b'pishtim, loishna pishtim b'tzemer. It doesn't matter if it's woolen strings in the linen garment or linen strings in a woolen garment. Tashema, you have to have a proof. It's very surprising that we use this term for the following proof. Damarach v'amar Rav Yehuda. Usually Tashema is like a Brisa or a Mishnah. Here it's a statement of Amiran. It's an interesting an anomaly. Chutei tzemer, paichim b'shal pishtan. Woolen strings exempt the linen garment. That we knew already. B'shal pishtan, paichim b'shal tzemer. Linen strings will exempt a woolen garment. Chutei tzemer pishtan b'chaichim b'chol makan. And wool strings and linen strings will exempt everywhere else, in all places, afilu b'shirayim, even in silk. Upliga de Rav Nachman, however, this argues on Rav Nachman. The Amar Rav Nachman, because Rav Nachman says, Hashirayim, thank you, Hashirayim silk, keturim min hatzitzis.
Wow.
That you don't need tzitzis to be put on to the silk garment. Eisvei Rav or Rav Nachman. The Rav asks Rav Nachman from a Brisa. It says Hashirayim v'hakalach v'asirikin. This is silk, some other type of silk, and a third type of silk. Kulan chayavim b'tzitzis. They're all chayav in tzitzis. Rav Nachman just said that you don't need tzitzis on a silk garment. Rava quotes a Brisa that you do need tzitzis on a silk garment. What does Rav Nachman mean? The answer is midirabanan. He means that it's only of rabbinic obligation. It's not of biblical obligation, which means it's not really a garment. The Torah considers a garment wool or linen, as we'll see based on verses. Ihachi, if that's the case, that it's only midirabanan, ema seifa. Let's look at the end of the brisa. It says v'kulan semeru pishtin paichim behem. It's a very interesting proof. It says that wool and linen can always be used to exempt a garment from tzitzis. Why? Even though it's shatnez, but because it's a mitzvah of tzitzis, so I can use wool and linen to exempt, because the positive command of tzitzis pushes off the negative command of shatnez. But when would that work? Only if I have a positive command of tzitzis. So can I use wool and linen together on a linen garment where there's no obligation of tzitzis, biblically?
Linen?
On a silk garment. On a silk garment. Can I use wool and linen on a silk garment?